You hold a pistachio between your fingers. A slight pressure. A crisp crack. Your brain instantly classifies it a nut, like almonds or peanuts. Our culinary recognition system operates swiftly and decisively, almost like facial recognition software. But place that same pistachio inside a botanical laboratory, and the narrative reverses. Under a microscope, its structure does not match the botanical definition of a nut. It is, in fact, closer to a peach than to a peanut. What you are eating is actually the seed of a stone fruit, a botanical drupe. This is not a trivial linguistic detail. It is a classification error that has persisted for 7,000 years, a case where culinary language has betrayed morphology. Behind this mislabeling lies a deeper story, one of evolutionary adaptation, intrinsic mechanical pressure, and genetic inheritance, stretching from the arid landscapes of Central Asia to the modern orchards of California. That tiny cracking sound does more than split a shell. It opens a complex biological system, a natural lock, that disengages only when a temporal code has been fulfilled. In botany, the word nut carries a precise definition: a dry fruit with a single seed that does not split open at maturity, such as an acorn or a true chestnut. Pistachio does not meet this criterion. Instead, it is classified as a drupe, a stone fruit. Morphologically, it consists of 3 distinct layers: exocarp, the thin outer skin; mesocarp, the fleshy middle layer; endocarp, the hardened shell, protecting the seed inside. Peaches, plums, and cherries share this same structural blueprint. The only difference is that the pistachio's mesocarp becomes thin and dry at maturity, disguising the fact that it was ever a fruit at all. Culinary language, shaped by sensory perception and habit, has grouped all small, hard, lipid-rich foods into a single functional category: nuts. This is a consumer-based classification system, not an anatomical one. The confusion resembles calling every handheld device a phone, even though internally it may function as a highly sophisticated computer. One of the most fascinating features of the pistachio is that it splits open naturally when ripe. No machinery, no human intervention. This phenomenon is known as dehiscence fruit splitting, caused by intrinsic mechanical pressure. As the seed matures, internal tissues accumulate storage, lipids, and proteins. Osmotic pressure increases due to concentration differences between seed tissues and their surrounding environment. Simultaneously, the endocarp, rich in cellulose and lignin, gradually loses moisture and becomes more brittle. When the internal mechanical force exceeds the tensile strength of the shell, it fractures along a structurally predetermined weak line, a biological seam encoded within the species' genetic inheritance. This mechanism does not exist for human convenience. It is a maturity signal, an evolutionary indicator that the seed is fully developed and ready for dispersal. Imagine the pistachio shell as the black box of a long biological flight. It opens only when the journey of growth is complete. Intriguingly, the degree of shell splitting depends heavily on climate conditions. In arid environments, splitting rates are significantly higher. This suggests that the mechanism evolved as an adaptive response to dry climates, where rapid seed dispersal is essential before the harsh continuation of the dry season. What appears to be a simple snack is, in reality, a precisely timed biomechanical event, an evolutionary strategy wrapped in a shell we have misunderstood for millennia. Pistachios originated from Iran, Turkmenistan, and Afghanistan, regions characterized by semi-arid climates. Rainfall is scarce, temperature fluctuations are extreme, and the soil is nutrient-poor. This is not a hospitable environment, yet it is precisely this harshness that created intense evolutionary pressure. Pistachio trees developed deep root systems to access groundwater, small leaves to minimize transpiration, and a high tolerance for salinity. Archaeological evidence suggests that pistachios were consumed more than 7,000 years ago. Along the Silk Road, they functioned as a form of energy currency rich in unsaturated lipids and protein. lightweight, and easily preserved. Pistachio remains have been discovered in ancient Persian sites, where they were regarded as symbols of prosperity. In that historical context, their value was not defined solely by nutrition, but by scarcity value. More importantly, pistachio trees require approximately 8 to 10 years before producing their first harvest. This represents a decadal investment. Farmers must plant today for a generation that may reap the benefits tomorrow. Such patience reflects a pre-modern economic model, long-term investment governed by natural cycles rather than quarterly returns. From Central Asia, pistachios traveled with merchants to the Mediterranean, and later to the United States in the 19th century. By the 20th century, California's Central Valley became a major production hub due to its climate similarities with Iran. The distinctive green color of pistachios comes from two primary pigment groups: chlorophyll residual plant pigment retained in the kernel, carotenoids such as lutein. In many other nuts, chlorophyll fully degrades during maturation. In pistachios, however, this breakdown is incomplete, resulting in their characteristic pale green hue. Additionally, the thin outer skin may contain anthocyanins, which produce a pinkish-purple tint when exposed to intense light. From a neuroscientific perspective, the color green is cognitively associated with freshness and plant-based foods. Research on the visual perception of premiumness indicates that rare color tones within a given food category are often assigned higher value, like a rare metal among common stones. Pistachios stand out among the predominantly brown landscape of other nuts. The industry has capitalized on this distinction. In the United States during the 1930s, pistachios were dyed red to conceal shell stains and enhance recognizability. As processing technology improved, their natural color became a marketing advantage. Botanically speaking, pistachios are not nuts. They are drupes, a type of stone fruit with a complex biological structure. Adapted to arid climates and equipped with a natural splitting mechanism that functions like a biological lock, opening at precisely the right time. Yet we continue to call them nuts. And perhaps that says more about us than about the fruit itself. We construct classification systems based on experience, convenience, and habit. Science often arrives later to refine them. Behind every audible crack lies 7,000 years of trade, osmotic pressures within plant cells, and genetic legacies stretching from the Persian deserts to California's valleys. Pistachios are not merely a snack. They are evidence that sometimes misnaming something for millennia opens a pathway toward deeper understanding of nature's structure and of our tendency to simplify it. And perhaps, in this complex world, the most intriguing fact is not that we have misidentified a fruit for 7,000 years. It is that nature has patiently waited for us to understand it correctly.